The biggest AI mistake right now is not a bad prompt. It is expecting a prompt to do the job of an entire system. That is why two people can open the same AI tool, ask about the same topic, and walk away with completely different results. One gets a polished but generic answer. The other gets a usable research brief, a sharper content plan, a cleaner automation idea, and fewer mistakes. The difference is not magic wording. The difference is the workflow around the model. A prompt is a request. A workflow is the process that turns that request into something useful. And as tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, and AI agent systems become more capable, the real advantage is shifting away from clever prompt tricks and toward reliable systems of work. That shift matters because AI is no longer being used only for quick answers. Creators use it for research, scripts, titles, repurposing, and editing. SEO professionals use it for intent analysis, competitor research, content gaps, and planning. Freelancers use it for proposals, client communication, and delivery systems. Automation builders use it for routing, classification, approvals, and error handling. More capability sounds useful, but it also creates a problem. Without a workflow, AI can become a faster way to create confusion. With a workflow, it can become a research assistant, content strategist, SEO analyst, automation partner, and quality control layer. The tool matters, but the system around the tool matters more. For the first wave of AI users, prompt engineering felt like the main skill. People saved huge templates, collected special phrases, and tried to force one perfect answer out of one perfect instruction. That made sense when most AI work happened inside a simple chat box, but the work has changed. Creators are not just asking for video ideas anymore. They need research, angle selection, structure, fact-checking, title testing, and repurposing. SEO professionals are not just asking for keywords. They need search intent, competitor mapping, content gaps, topical planning, AI search visibility, and editorial review. Freelancers are not just asking AI to write a client email. They need intake, scope, proposal structure, revision control, and repeatable quality. Automation builders are not just connecting apps. They need triggers, conditions, routing logic, approvals, and fallback rules when something goes wrong. This is where the workflow becomes the real skill. A weak prompt can produce a weak answer, but a weak workflow can produce weak decisions at scale. That is the bigger risk now. The tools are more powerful, the tasks are more serious, and the output is moving from private experiments into real content, client work, marketing systems, and business operations. The old way was simple. You opened an AI tool and asked for the final result. Write me a YouTube script, give me keywords, create a blog post, draft a proposal, summarize this document, build me an automation. Sometimes the result looked impressive, but often the thinking was thin, the structure was predictable, the facts needed checking, the voice sounded generic, and the final output still required heavy cleanup. The problem was not always the model, the problem was the process. Most people were asking AI to act as researcher, strategist, writer, editor, fact-checker, SEO analyst, and project manager all at once. For a simple task, that may be enough. For serious work, it creates a hidden weakness. The output can sound finished before it is actually reliable. That is the trap. AI is very good at making unfinished work look complete. What changed is that AI is becoming part of workflows, not just conversations. A workflow is a structured sequence of steps that turns an input into a useful output. For a YouTube creator, that may mean taking a topic idea, turning it into a research brief, then an outline, then a script, then a fact-checking pass, then a final publishing package. For an SEO professional, it may mean taking a website, reviewing competitors, grouping keywords, finding content gaps, drafting briefs, improving pages, and checking claims. For a freelancer, it may mean taking a client request, analyzing the problem, defining the scope, drafting the proposal, reviewing risks, and preparing the final delivery. The prompt is only one instruction inside that system. The workflow is the full operating procedure. That distinction matters because most people treat the prompt like the product. But in serious AI work, the prompt is only one layer. The workflow includes the goal, the input quality, the order of steps, the tool choices, the rules, the review process, and the decision points. For beginners, this makes AI easier to control. Instead of asking AI to write the entire final output in one attempt, you ask it to do one job at a time. First, analyze the audience, then identify the tension, then build the outline, then write one section, then check for repetition, then improve the final version. For advanced users, this matters even more because workflows are reusable. A good workflow can become a standard operating procedure. It can be handed to a team member. It can be improved over time. It can be turned into automation. It can be measured. A prompt gives you one output. A workflow gives you a repeatable system. A strong AI workflow starts with inputs. That input could be a topic, transcript, spreadsheet, customer message, competitor page, product brief, document, or set of notes. Bad input creates weak output. If the model does not have enough context, it may guess. If the context is outdated, the answer may be outdated. If the goal is unclear, the output will drift. After input comes processing. This is where the work gets broken into smaller steps. Research is separated from writing. Writing is separated from editing. Editing is separated from fact-checking. Fact-checking is separated from final formatting. That separation matters because AI is more useful when each step has a clear job. Most people miss this. They ask one model call to handle strategy, research, writing, formatting, and quality control at the same time. The result may sound smooth, but smooth is not the same as trustworthy. Then comes tool use. Modern AI workflows can involve search, document analysis, spreadsheets, code, APIs, browsers, databases, and automation platforms. Once tools enter the process, the prompt is no longer the whole system. You need rules. When should the AI search? When should it summarize? When should it calculate? When should it ask for approval? When should it stop? When should a human review the result? Without those rules, AI can move quickly in the wrong direction. The final layer is evaluation, and this is the layer many people skip. A real workflow includes review. Is the answer accurate? Is it useful? Does it match the audience? Does it follow the brand voice? Does it include unsupported claims? Does it need a human decision? Without evaluation, AI output can look professional while still being wrong, shallow, or unsafe to publish. For content creators, this changes the research process. The old YouTube workflow was often slow and messy. A creator would browse videos, collect notes, look at competitors, guess the angle, write a script, and hope the structure held attention. With AI, that process can become more organized. First, define the topic and audience. Then research the trend. Then identify the viewer's pain point. Then compare the old way with the new way. Then build the hook. Then write the script. Then run an editing pass. Then check which claims need verification. The realistic benefit is not a perfect script in one click. It is faster research, clearer structure, and less blank page friction. But the creator still needs to check facts, remove generic lines, sharpen the point of view, and make sure the story fits the channel. The same is true for SEO. The old process involved manual keyword research, competitor analysis, search result review, content briefs, outlines, writing, optimization, and internal linking. AI can speed up parts of that process. It can help group keywords by intent. It can summarize competitor pages. It can draft content briefs. It can identify missing subtopics. It can help rewrite sections for clarity. But it does not remove SEO judgment. A prompt can generate an article. A workflow can build a content system. That difference matters. Traditional SEO often focused on ranking pages. AI search pushes marketers to think about whether their content can be summarized, trusted, cited, and included in answer systems. That requires better sources, clearer structure, stronger expertise, and content that answers real questions. AI can support that work, but it cannot automatically make weak content valuable. For freelancers, the same principle applies. A freelancer using AI casually may ask, "Write a proposal for this client." A freelancer using AI as a workflow starts earlier. What does the client actually need? What problem are they trying to solve? What is the scope? What should be included? What risks should be clarified? What does the final offer need to say? Only then does AI help draft the proposal. That workflow creates a stronger deliverable because each step has a purpose. For automation builders, workflows are even more critical. If an AI system reads incoming leads, classifies them, drafts replies, updates a CRM, and notifies a team, it needs boundaries. What information can it access? When should it act automatically? When should it wait for approval? What happens if the data is missing? What happens if the model is uncertain? Without those rules, automation can create errors faster than a human could. For online business owners, the practical value is leverage, not replacing the business, not replacing strategy, but turning repeated tasks into systems. Market research can become a repeatable workflow. Newsletter creation can become a repeatable workflow. Product description updates can become a repeatable workflow. Customer support triage can become a repeatable workflow. Content repurposing can become a repeatable workflow. The key is not asking AI to do everything. The key is deciding which parts should be automated, which parts should be assisted, and which parts should remain human. Compared with manual work, AI workflows are usually faster at drafting, summarizing, organizing, and transforming information. They are especially useful when the task has a repeatable structure: research briefs, content outlines, email drafts, keyword clusters, meeting summaries, competitive comparisons, and standard reports. But manual work still has advantages. Humans are better at taste, judgment, lived experience, relationship context, ethical decisions, and knowing when an answer sounds right but is actually wrong. Compared with Google search, AI workflows can reduce friction. Google gives you links. AI can help synthesize, compare, summarize, and turn information into an output. But Google still matters when you need source discovery, recent information, and direct verification. Compared with Perplexity, a workflow is broader. Perplexity can be useful for answer-style research and source-backed exploration. But a full workflow may include research, strategy, writing, editing, formatting, task routing, and automation. Compared with using ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini as simple chatbots, workflows create structure. The important point is not that one model wins every task. The important point is that the workflow determines how the model is used. A strong workflow can make an average tool more useful. A weak workflow can make a powerful tool produce mediocre work. Compared with older AI tools, the difference is integration. Older AI tools often handled one narrow task. Modern AI systems can sit across multiple steps. They can read, classify, write, search, call tools, and hand off work. That creates more value, but also more responsibility. Because once AI touches more of the workflow, mistakes can travel farther. This is why human freelancers, creators, marketers, and SEO professionals are not simply replaced by AI. Low-skill generic output is under pressure. But people who can design workflows, manage quality, understand clients, and use AI as part of a delivery system become more valuable. The disruption is not evenly distributed. People who only sell the first draft are vulnerable. People who sell judgment, systems, and outcomes are in a stronger position. But there is a major limitation. A workflow does not automatically make AI correct. It only makes the process more controllable. If the research step is weak, the writing step will inherit weak research. If the instructions are vague, the output will still drift. If the data is outdated, the answer may still be outdated. If the human reviewer does not understand the subject, errors may pass through the system. This is the hidden risk. A workflow can create a feeling of professionalism. A multi-step process feels more reliable than a simple prompt, but a bad workflow is still bad. It just fails in a more organized way. There are also privacy concerns. If you are putting client data, business strategy, customer messages, financial information, or internal documents into AI tools, you need to understand the tool's data controls and your own obligations. There are accuracy concerns. AI can summarize sources incorrectly. It can miss nuance. It can produce outdated claims. It can make confident statements that still need verification. There are brand concerns. If everyone uses similar prompts and similar workflows, content starts to sound the same. That is why human editing matters. Not just for grammar, for taste, for positioning, for knowing what the audience actually cares about. There is also the risk of over-automation. Some people try to automate the entire content process, the entire SEO process, or the entire client delivery process too early. That usually creates generic output. The better approach is to automate the repetitive parts first: research organization, first drafts, formatting, summaries, checklists, classification, and repurposing. Then keep humans in the parts where judgment matters: angle selection, final claims, client strategy, creative direction, and publishing decisions. The hype says AI agents will do everything. The practical reality is more specific. AI agents are useful when the task is clear, the tools are defined, the data is available, the risk is controlled, and the workflow has review points. Without that, an agent is just a fast assistant with unclear instructions. And unclear instructions at scale can become expensive. The biggest lesson is simple. Prompts still matter, but workflows matter more. A prompt tells AI what to do next. A workflow tells AI how the work should move from idea to useful result. That is the shift creators, marketers, SEO pros, freelancers, automation builders, and online business owners need to understand. The future advantage will not belong only to people who know the newest AI tool. It will belong to people who can turn AI into repeatable systems. Systems for research, systems for content, systems for SEO, systems for client delivery, systems for automation, systems for quality control. This is where AI becomes practical, not when it writes one impressive answer, but when it helps you produce better work more consistently. So the next time you open ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or Perplexity, do not start by asking for the final output. Start by mapping the workflow. What is the input? What are the steps? Where does AI help? Where does a tool need to be used? Where does a human need to review? Where could the system fail? That one shift changes everything, because the real question is no longer, what prompt should I use? The better question is, what workflow should this prompt belong to?